Smith plays a ringleader of the male stripping world in the new movie Magic Mike XXL, or as I like to call it, Channing Tatum. Jada's role was originally written for a man, but she totally $10 billed it and convinced them to give the spot to a woman.
That's right. Come on, get it in.
Hey, hold that up. Look, it's not bro time, it's show time. Are you guys ready?
Yeah, ready.
All right, come on, let's do this.
With me tonight, Jada Pinkett Smith. You know, I love anyone who will dance to our theme music.
Well, you know what? I love the fact that you call it Channing Tatum. I might have to just strip that one. That's awesome.
Use it. It's yours.
Okay, good. I was like, Channing Tatum? That's hot.
This role written for a man?
Yes, it was originally written for Jamie Foxx. Yes, and then I think something happened scheduling-wise, and then Channing thought of me. Now, I don't know if how I'm supposed to feel about that, but that's what happened. It worked out after I talked to Channing about what he wanted from me as far as the role was concerned. I said, you know, I think I can deliver that.
What did he want?
You know, he basically said that he'd always thought if he took this show live, it would have to be a woman. So he's like, I don't know why I didn't think about that from the beginning, to have a woman actually do it in the movie. And he said, you know, Jada, in all honesty, I think this also gives us an opportunity to bring in a sense of responsibility to this component of adult entertainment. And that was a radical idea for me. It was a challenge. And I was like, you know what, Channing? That is pretty awesome. I'm gonna have to like take this road with you, this ride with you. I said, I don't know where we're gonna end up, but the fact that that was important to him, that really roped me in.
Right, because it's an issue that's very important to you. I know that you're working on a new CNN documentary. Tell me a little bit about it.
Yeah, you know, I went to Atlanta. It's funny because when Channing called me, I had just come from Atlanta doing the human trafficking documentary with CNN, and how strip clubs can sometimes be a gateway to trafficking. So when he talked about bringing in a sense of responsibility, I think that's exactly what's needed in that particular industry, because it's an industry that's not going away, right? And so if there's a way in which, because it doesn't matter what we do, there's trafficking in clothing industries, in the coffee industry, chocolate industry, all kinds of industries have trafficking. So it really is about how we treat one another. It's not about what we're doing necessarily, but it's just about how we go about doing it. And I think that the idea of, if we're going to have adult entertainment, let's make it more responsible.
Right, let's think of them as workers.
That's right, and think of them as human beings.
Because you posted this video on your Facebook page about the fact that when you were coming up, stripping was not the top of the totem pole.
Top of the totem pole, but now it's so different. Yeah. It is so different. I mean, you have so many, especially young women, who look at it as an opportunity. And there have been young women that have been able to get an opportunity, big time. I mean, some very famous ones. So, you know, we have to just look at the sign of the times, right? And my whole feeling is like, okay, well then, let's treat it as an industry. Let's bring in some human rights, you know, treat it with respect and elevate the game.
You know, I saw the first Magic Mike in a theater in New York, and I loved it, and the crowd was going crazy.
Right.
There were some older women who I think thought it was a movie about an illusionist, and they stood up and they laughed during the first stripping scene. But putting that aside, this is a movie people love, women love in large part because these men are so beautiful on top of being fantastic actors. What was it like to work with all of them?
Oh, it was fantastic. It really was. And I think that Channing really earned, by doing the first movie, he really dealt with the real issues that happen in the exotic dance world. So now he really earned the opportunity to have a really good, if you had a good time in the first Magic Mike, the second Magic Mike is just beyond.
This is one of the only film franchises I've seen where they actually get more and more stars with each new edition of, you know, normally there's sort of like an atrophy where by the last one, like the main character is played by a different actor than it was in the first one, where this time it feels like everyone wants to be a part of this project.
Absolutely. It was, I think it was really Channing's perspective as well. And one of the things that I love about Channing as a producer is that he's this artist that likes to flow power to other artists. He likes to see other artists shine. I mean, when you see what Joe's doing, Matt's doing, the opportunity he gave me, all of us really, Donald Glover, all of us, you know, you can't really say no because he's lobbying up for you to win.
Jada, I don't want to know that he's any more wonderful.
He's
like, I want to
I
believe that
know,
he's,
but
like,
can I tell you?
Terrible.
He's a super guy,
Yeah,
really.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people look at this film, and because there are all of these men that are a part of it, and because they do all of this sexy dancing, there are questions about male objectification. I want to read you this quote that Chris Pratt had in a recent interview about gender equality in Hollywood, where he said, "I think it's appalling that for a long time only women were objectified. But I think if we really want to advocate for equality, it's important to even things out. Not objectify women less, but objectify men just as often as we objectify women." Now, I have to believe he's being a little tongue-in-cheek there.
He is, because this movie is so far from objectification. Because, you know, anytime you're dealing with objectification, we really have to look at who's in power, right? So in this particular instance, the guys are in complete power. They're making their choices. And we do get the opportunity to know who they are, to actually get invested in them as human beings. We're not just looking at them as these like gorgeous objects that we just want to do whatever to. They're like people that we actually get invested in and care about. I mean, yeah, I guess, right? And some of you like, I don't know about all that. I'll take the objectification.
I'm watching, not listening. Right. I mean, because for you, as a powerful woman in Hollywood, you must run into this all the time, right? The fact that women are brought into auditions and they're looked at and men are listened to.
Well, yeah, that does happen often. Yeah, you're right. But, you know, as a woman, you kind of learn how to, what would you say, kind of change that energy, you know, with your perspective. I think that Hollywood is changing in that way, that there are more men that are willing to listen to women. I give Channing, Stephen, Reed, and Greg so much props for that, because as far as creating Rome, they passed the ball to me, and they really trusted where I believe she needed to go, and they didn't question anything. They really trusted my perspective. And so there are men that are there that are making that change, that are really now listening to women. Women that they find beautiful, but they also find smart.
Jada, it is so fun to have you here. Yes. I've never loved anyone this much. Thank you so much, Jada.
Thank you.